What's up, everybody? It's Berto with Gilded Images, back with the second video. Got a lot of good feedback from the first one. Definitely helps boost my confidence a little bit when it comes to like this video stuff. But I actually had one of my boys hit me up from back home, and he just was telling me that I did a really good job, and obviously like that boosted my ego a little bit. So here I am making a second video. So this morning I had posted the question on my story, like what should my next video be about, and one of the questions that kind of like stuck out to me was like what equipment slash software did I start off with initially. And I like this question because it kind of helps me like reflect on like, you know, where I've been versus like where I'm at now as far as like equipment and just like skill wise. And it's so funny to think back just because, so my original camera was a Nikon D30-200, which, you know, is a super basic camera. I think it's like $450, like the bundle pack with like 2 lenses, and the lenses weren't that great either. Like they're just basic lenses that come with it. But I was just so like ecstatic when I bought it, and it was, you know, I was taking pictures, and you know, at the time phones weren't as good as they are now. So like to see those pictures, I was just like, wow, like this is crazy. Like this is a dope ass hobby. So eventually, you know, I just started taking pictures, and eventually, you know, fast forward like a year and a half, I bought my first prime lens. I don't even remember like why I bought a prime lens, like, or what told me. I think it was like a YouTube video. Someone had said like, if you want to do portraits, like buy a prime lens. So, you know, as a college kid, I didn't have, you know, hundreds of dollars to spend on a new lens. So I bought, I mean, I still spent a bit on it, but it was a 35 millimeter 1.8, and it was, I think it was like 275, 280, and even like that at the time I was like, wow, this is such a big investment, like you know, but it'll be worth it. And I bought the lens, and I reached out to my roommate at the time. His name is Steven. He's actually a dope artist here in Charlotte. I'll put his Instagram down below in the description. But anyways, like he was my roommate, and I asked him to go take photos because he was just a very like social media heavy guy. So he was just like, bet, like we'll get some photos done, post them, get some good likes, whatever. And but anyway, like we went out to Uptown in the Epicenter, and we did like a slight photo shoot. And I was just blown away by like the way this camera like would take pictures. And then I think it was like later that week or a week after that, I reached out to my boy Keith, who's another local artist, like a musical artist. He's a producer, songwriter, super talented guy here in Charlotte. I'll put his Instagram as well in the description, just so you guys can give him a follow and show support to local artists. But anyways, those two, Steven and Keith, like they're the first 2 people that I've ever taken pictures of, because I was normally just kind of going out to Uptown taking pictures of like buildings and like whatever inanimate objects that look cool, some squirrels here and there. But they're the first 2 that I started off with, and then later on I bought an 85 millimeter, and then slowly, which I still have, and then slowly I started kind of like building up my arsenal as far as equipment. Eventually I upgraded my camera to a D50-500, which isn't too big of an upgrade from the D30-200, but it just had a lot more like capabilities, which is actually what I'm recording this video with now. And then I remember June of 2019, I actually had my camera stolen, and I had my Sigma lenses. Anyway, I had my whole camera bag stolen from my car, and that was one of like the lowest points. Throughout this whole photography thing, it was one of my low points, because I was just like, wow, like I was already making money, like I had clients, like repeat clients and everything, and then like camera got stolen. So I ended up rebuying the camera that I had, and then come November of 2019, I upgraded to a Nikon Z6, which is the mirrorless, the best investment that I've made, I think. It was about $2,000 with, you know, after everything, like the taxes and then like the memory card, because it requires a special memory card. But so far, one of my best investments. And, you know, from there I bought maybe like a couple other lenses, but now I've bought more lighting equipment, and just because lighting is key. So like to any photographer that's like starting off or wants to like take it up to the next level, lighting is your best friend. Super important that you understand how lighting works. Any of like the good, like the top photographers in Charlotte, or just top photographers period, will always say that lighting is key. You can't just go out there and take pictures in the dark. But you know, I can talk about that in another video. But as far as like equipment, like you just gotta kind of slowly build your arsenal up. You can't just go out there as a beginner and buy like the best stuff, because you might not know how to use it. So like baby steps, obviously grow into your craft. As far as software, I've always used Lightroom. I like Lightroom. It's pretty simple, but you know, lately I've been transitioning into Photoshop, just because there's a lot more you can do with Photoshop as far as like touching up and like any discrepancies that, you know, a person might have, you know, maybe like, you know, a scratch or a scar or something. You can clean those up. Some like, you know, some hair strands that are like in the wind, you can clean those up. So Photoshop is definitely like super helpful when it comes to like cleaning up photos. But typically I'll use Lightroom. Lightroom's quick and easy. But then like for those extensive edits, I would definitely use Photoshop. And as far as equipment, I think that's it. Like, you know, there's a bunch of other little things, but they're not really anything major I use. The main things you need to invest in, it's not the camera body, it's more so the lens. So focus more on lens, and then whatever your style is, like make sure the lens caters to that style as well. Memory cards, batteries, again, lights, some good stands. I've had lights broken because my stand wasn't that good. But as far as like equipment, that's pretty much it. And if you have any like specific questions, be sure to shoot me a DM. I'll be more than happy to answer. And once again, I appreciate you guys with the feedback on my first video. That's why I'm making the second one. I actually like enjoyed making the first video, as uncomfortable as it was. Like, you know, like kind of like the end product was super, like I was proud of it, even though it was a simple video. But if there's any other topics that you would want me to touch base on, feel free to submit your topic or just shoot me a DM with the question. And, you know, if it's a question that I would like to answer for everybody, I'll just go ahead and make a video. But until next time, you know, you guys stay safe, be good. Again, crazy out here in the streets. We got COVID going on. Wear your mask. That's a big one. Wear your mask. So stay tuned for the next video.